floor to our next speaker. It's Petra Wadström, CEO of Solvatten AB, and she's talking about safe and warm water with Solvatten, a valuable saving instrument. Welcome, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and dear ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to be here, and I wanted to start to show a short film from where we work in Kenya, and I think it's a good introduction. Then I want to continue the story.
It's improving me because last 2 years I was been having typhoid, but now when I'm drinking more warm water, like the day, I see that my life is not bad.
Now Solvatten have been so nice to me. Like now something like typhoid, children no longer become sick because of typhoid or cholera. And also as a family we have benefited a lot. Even my neighbors, they have also used the same water of Solvatten for drinking. It saves a lot because I have been buying firewood. I can buy a trough of 200 shillings, but like for now, I can now only buy 50 shillings for firewood per week.
Every day I've been buying firewood for 20 shillings every day. So I've used it for 2 weeks, that is 14 days. That is 20 times 14. You see, it's a lot of money. So me, I appreciate what the manufacturer have done to us because I'm really saving. Yeah. So somebody has come to help us. Yes. And even reduce part of the money that I've been just wasting. Yeah.
And you've used Solvatten for 1 year. How do you find it?
She says she has saved a lot of money from it. In fact, she has bought a cow from the savings.
She says that she has saved a lot, especially in terms of money. The money she used to treat the diseases and boil water. Now she has even used it to build a house. And with the time she is thinking of just getting a certain yeah, Solvatten house. She'll take a bone and then Solvatten house. She's very happy. So per month she used to use 2,000 shillings on firewood, and that is and 1,800 on diseases per person. Yeah.
And now?
And sorry, how long is it now? 1,000. So now it's 500 on firewood.
So more than half.
She has saved, in fact, more than half.
75%.
Yeah, 75%. Yeah.
That's it.
Well, thank you so much.
Solvatten has made my life change because it has improved the health of my family, because nowadays there is no stomach and headache complaints here and there, and I've managed to save something that can help me to do something else, like paying school fees for them, and maybe this and even shopping, clothing and so has done something very important and very wonderful towards our lives.
It's so great to come back to places where we started. Now it's 7 years ago to be with people who own the problem of unsafe water in the world, and there are so many. So that has been something I could not resist to start to think how to do, what can I do as a person. I live in Sweden. We don't have that problem at all. We have fantastic water in Sweden. I see if I can come out of this. I have some other pictures to show, but I think I'm here because it's a case story more than it's about sustainable technology and the importance of allowing ideas to come through. I can see if I can make it. Sorry?
Anything it says view?
Yes. Yes.
Or place?
That's important. Yes. Sorry. Yes. Safe and warm water with Solvatten. Solvatten means sun and water. It's a valuable saving instrument, and that I think you heard from the users. It's a saving instrument, but it's not just about saving and money. It's about health and life, daily life. And there are so many, as I said, it's to live with unsafe water and to struggle. I think that really gave me the strength to give a tool to women, especially women and children. And I think it must be everything, all economies, all countries that are struggling with poverty. You need to go back and to see how is it in the households, what's the problem, what's the real problem. And I think unsafe water, unimproved hygiene and sanitation as the basic facts that we all see how to change that. And also the Millennium Development Goals we used to talk about improved water. And improved water is not always safe. And I think it's in the household perspective to come in small scale, but also to look then how to scale up. But those wells, even if you have a well, it's mostly they are contaminated. UNICEF said that 2 out of 3 wells are contaminated. And there are so many different kinds of infections, and not all infections comes from the drinking water. It's also the surrounding. If you live in an unhygienic situation, in domestic situation where you can't really have a clean life, then you have those infections like skin infections and eye infections. But to give a tool for that, but mostly people are using to boil water, and you use charcoal or firewood. And that's in Tanzania, for example, people use about 90% of the population use firewood or charcoal. So that is the situation then you see with the trees, how they are just cut down. In Haiti, where we also have project, it's just less than 2% of the trees are still there. And of course it's difficult then with the soil erosion and to grow and to grow food. And we see that also charcoal is the most used energy source in most of the slum areas, And just 40% of sub-Saharan Africa are connected to the electrical grid. And water, yeah, it's not a sustainable way to use, to buy water. We grow the garbage, it's growing with all those bottles, and I think it's you need about 5 times the amount of water to produce 1 bottle of water. So it's a lot, it's a big chain of costs included. But also to see what we always use, we used to switch on the shower. We used to have warm water and safe water. We take a nice shower in the morning, and it's not possible in many countries. So to look at the effect of just using, as Solvatten is a container, it's a 10 liters unit, and you fill it with dirty water and you put it in the sun. You don't need any extra chemicals. It's just the sun who does the work. But it's a synergetic effect of both pasteurization and disinfection through the UV. And then you also get the warm water. And that is what we see the most acceptable part of why people using Solvatten is because they have the access to warm water as well as safe water. And it's also to look at what's sustainable and what's many people used to, first thing you say, what's the cost? But also to think about a life cycle cost. How long does a product live, and how long can it produce? And to look at that, it's most important for all of our choices now to look at quality, especially for poor people, to have quality, long-lasting products. And today we are working in 40 countries. We have 26,000 Solvatten out, but we've been out since 2006 the company started. But I started the idea for 15 years ago, so it's a long journey. But also where it's needed the most, it's in where the sun is the strongest, the biggest problem with water, and also deforestation. So it's interesting to get all those results from those people who are using Solvatten. Is it something that's sustainable? Are people using it even projects are over? And that's the fact. And one way of distributing is through health clinics, maternity ward, to teach the midwives, to teach the mothers, and to have a tool when you come home. But it's also as an important education, because as we talked, it's culture, it's part of daily life, but the education around how to also store safe water and all challenges around water. But we said that Solvatten lasts for a childhood, and I think it's absolutely what we need to have something over those important years of your life. And we look at the convenience for people, that they can use already warm water and then just add a little bit of boiling, or use it as it is. You can use it for bathing your baby, or you can use it for many purposes, drinking tea directly. And we've been looking at cost for heating 1 cubic meter of water with just charcoal over a 3-stone oven, and compare it with Solvatten. Solvatten produces about 6,000 liters a year, and about 50,000 liters through its expected lifetime. And as yeah, those important parts where you can use warm water, it's nothing I need to tell you, but the appreciation from people who cannot really afford it just through boiling, I think it's a big help to, and also interesting to see all the small business opportunities that occurs as hairdressers in the slum in Kampala. They're using the warm water for their customers. They use warm water to rinse the udder before milking. The milk will last longer, and all those parts we collect the results, the stories, and they are real stories. And one most important part is time saving for women. And I think when you have time, you can do other things, and you can continue to work or to educate, and all that is, otherwise you have to stay home and take care of your sick children and collect firewood, or, I mean, it's such a burden. And we just have been looking at some economy through what you can save, and this is one Solvatten, just 10 liters, but if you use it a couple of days, times a day, you can see all those reduced sick days. We have done studies with social return of investment from the university, and we can see that you have everything from all the social aspects, but also the climate comes into you can calculate the CO2 emission reduction, and you can see how many trees, how many hectares you are saving. And that is, what we can do today. If we look at figures, if we come up to 120,000, of course, it's a lot of hectares of firewood or forest can be saved, and a lot of hours for the women, and a lot of reduced sick days and healthier children. So, and after the investment, and if it lasts for at least 7 years, you can see yeah. And I think as with the matter of dignity, it is a matter of dignity, and but it's going to take time, as 16 years before Janice can have electrical grid into her house. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Wadström. It was exciting to hear about an island solution if you don't have energy, and water and sanitation is one of the most important issues in developing a country, of course. Yeah. Are there some questions? Not yet? So thank you very much once again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I have Solvatten here. If someone wants to ask more, I have a unit here if you are interested to, can after lunch or so. Yeah.
Wonderful. So one applause for you. And even if she is the last between you and the lunch, but everybody knows that